Welcome to MidField SportsCast.
And our fifth episode of the Divided Friendship Podcast. As now, there's officially three of us, soon to be possibly four, because we are not doing no co-hosts anymore or nothing like that. It is every week we are going to try to have all four members of the MidField Sportscast team meet here for the Divided Friendship Podcast. And that means it can possibly be 1v3.
Potentially, yeah.
Because you have three Michigan fans and one Ohio State fan. But that's just how it's got to be, I guess. But right now, Quentin could not be here today. So we are joined by me, you have Dawson, and you have Luke.
Yeah.
Okay. On the agenda today, what we got first, Philly? What we got?
First off, we're going to talk about our Week 0 top 5 game predictions, and that's going to lead us right into talking about Week 0 in general.
All right, starting out Week 0. Pull up the games.
First game we did was Navy Notre Dame.
Yeah, I wrote it down in order.
Okay.
The final score of the Navy Notre Dame game was 42-3. That's an absolute blowout.
Big time blowout.
I did not expect anything like that. Luke, what'd you think about Sam Hartman?
Transfer in from Wake Forest. He is going to do some great things for Notre Dame. I mean, sure, it's just freaking Navy, but he was great. He had a good performance in the first game.
You see,
here we go again.
You see, for me, the announcer said this, and it makes you think. Like, at Wake Forest, he was more of a shotgun offense, air raid style. That was an air raid style team. At Notre Dame, they have three very good backs. They're going to be more under center, and he's going to have to get used to that. And I think he did. I mean, he played very good, had a very good completion percentage, didn't turn the ball over. Yeah, it was Navy, but last year they almost got beat by Navy, so he proved that he could lead his team, and he beat Navy 42-3. But in our predictions here.
All right, so what we predicted last week, we had Luke win it with Notre Dame winning 46-29.
I think I might have overdid it a little bit, given Navy 29 points. Was it 29?
Yeah.
So I predicted that Notre Dame would win, but I think I gave Navy, my fault, just a little bit too much points.
All right. Maddyx had Notre Dame 27-17.
You see, I was thinking a little bit of a low-scoring game with this. The new quarterback coming in for Notre Dame, I didn't expect the offense to explode as much as it did, but they had very good running back play, had good freshman receiver. He played very good. They had Sam Hartman, obviously, we already talked about him, but I put a little bit too few points for Notre Dame and too many for Navy. Navy offense couldn't get it going. Triple option was not working in this game, so yeah, still got the winner right. That's all that matters.
And lastly, I had Notre Dame 38-6. Mine was the closest out of everyone's. Me and Maddyx had the same amount of total points. We were both one off of the total point amount. 38-6. I figured Navy's offense wouldn't do very well. Triple option, it normally doesn't work very effectively, but you saw it last year work against Notre Dame, so maybe they could have got something going there. But Notre Dame's offense, like Maddyx said, they just really dominated that game. Most people probably didn't expect to see a 40-point game off the bat. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a pretty big margin. And that's it. Next game, we got San Jose State on the road against the defending Heisman winner and his number 6 USC Trojans. Luke predicted this score to be 71-9 USC, and the final score of this game was actually 56-28. So, Luke, what do you have to say about that?
See, I kind of forgot that USC's defense is not good. So I thought that it was just San Jose State. It's San Jose State. Anyone can beat San Jose State. I predicted Caleb Williams to have a great game. He did have a good game, but I definitely overdid it, going 71-9. A little too much.
Caleb Williams did have a really good game. He had 4 touchdowns, countable 4.
They're almost for 280.
Zachariah Branch, the new freshman 5-star, went off at over 200 yards of offense, I'm pretty sure. I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
98-yard kick return.
And then he had a touchdown receiving.
Matt Pat, your score for this game was 56-21, which it was only off by 1 San Jose State touchdown, which they could have had, but a receiver dropped a beautiful pass.
So I almost had this one right on the money. I mean, I don't have that much to say about it. I expected the USC defense to crack a little bit, give up some points, but I knew their offense would keep up with San Jose State and they'd win the game overall.
All right, lastly, I put 55-7. I was 1 off of USC's total points, but obviously, kind of undershot on San Jose State's total points. I knew the USC defense really isn't that great, not elite, obviously, as we saw on Saturday. But, I thought that maybe they would just give up that much points to a, fellow Pac-12 team. But, no, they gave up 28 to San Jose State. And that, I should have seen that coming. Definitely should not have predicted 7 points for San Jose State against that USC defense, but I did. And next game, we have UTEP versus Jacksonville State, which is their first game as an FBS team. Luke predicted UTEP 26-22.
What was the score of the actual game?
17-14.
Okay, it was a close game. So I'm glad I didn't predict a blowout like 71-9. But it was a close game. Didn't predict the winner. I knew it wouldn't be a blowout. That's pretty much all I got to say. I don't got much to say about this game.
Hey.
It was a very average football game.
Maddyx picked UTEP 35-31.
In this game, I wasn't able to watch it. I was not home at the time, but I heard about it, and I heard that UTEP they had some pretty bad play calls is what I heard. I don't really know that much about it, but it looks like Jacksonville State pretty much didn't even have to do that much in the air. They went 10 for 20. Their quarterback, Webb, went 10 for 20 for 67 yards. And that was their leading passer. And then rushing, 13 attempts, 76 yards, and a touchdown for Jackson. So, I mean, they did not have to throw the ball for a huge amount of yards. They had a back with 76, a back with 63, and a back with 55 on the ground with 2 touchdowns with those 3 running backs. So, I mean, overall, Zion Webb, their quarterback, was the one that had 55 yards, not a running back. But they just dominated on the ground. Low-scoring game, but they kept UTEP in control, forced 2 interceptions for a pretty all-right UTEP team. I mean, they're not bad, but Jacksonville State just too much on the ground. So,
all right, and finally, mine. I picked Jacksonville State 21-20. I was the only one that got this game right. I just thought Jacksonville State would come out with a little intensity in them for their first FBS game. Didn't really know too much about the two teams. Jeremiah Harris got a big interception that helped them seal that game away. Yeah, not really much to say there. Very close game, very competitive, but UTEP's obviously got to limit the turnovers too. On to the next one. UMass and New Mexico State kind of came to a shocker to all of us as UMass defeated New Mexico State 41-30 in this game. Luke, he predicted New Mexico State 34-17.
Well, I mean, just like the last time, it was a very average football game, in my opinion.
41-30. I mean,
sorry USC fans, or not USC fans. Sorry UMass fans, but your team is not very great.
There's not very many of those.
Yeah, but the rare UMass fans watching this, your team is not very great, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth. But they did get a win to start the season, so if they can build off of that momentum, I'm not saying they're gonna finish ranked or anything, but they could possibly sneak into a bowl game.
No.
I think if they build off of this starting season momentum.
Let's just look at this real quick, Luke.
We also have to know that New Mexico State's really not that good. It's just we expected UMass to not be very good at all. This
quarterback here for UMass, I don't know how to say it, but that right there.
Oh my God.
Phommachanh. This guy went 10 for 17 in the air with 192 yards, had 17 carries for 96 yards and touchdown on the ground. So he pretty much carried this team. I mean, 41 points. He was only accountable for one touchdown. But on the ground, they had one running back with 2 touchdowns and another running back with 1. So this quarterback played great. Better than probably any of us expected. None of us knew who this guy was before this game. And my prediction here, I had UMass losing 26-7. I expected a low-scoring game pretty much. Didn't expect UMass to come out with that much offensive, I wouldn't say firepower, but that much offense. And yeah, I was just wrong. They played good. They played all right, actually. But they played New Mexico State, so whatever.
All right. My prediction, I had New Mexico State 31-10. Obviously didn't expect UMass to win. 28 points in the fourth quarter from UMass. And there was actually 48 total points in the fourth quarter between the two teams. Before that quarter, UMass was only up 13-10. But they really just broke away in the fourth. A lot of scoring, a lot of offense there in the last quarter. Like Maddyx said, the quarterback pulled most of the load on the offense. New Mexico State's quarterback. That was bad.
Did you hear the one you did last week? It was bad.
Diego Pavia.
I didn't cut it out either.
He had 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Gotta take care of the ball a little more. Monte Watkins had a rushing touchdown. UMass, they, like Maddyx said, didn't play great, but played good enough to get the job done. And the last game we had on the list was the Ohio Bobcats against the San Diego State Aztecs. And I do believe, if I remember correctly, San Diego State won this one 20-13. I was right. It was 2013. Luke's prediction for this game.
Give it to Luke.
No. Pass me the rock. Luke's prediction for this game was San Diego State 32-30 in triple overtime. Obviously, we didn't see the triple overtime part, but Luke.
I predicted a close game, and a close game it was. So
okay.
Bars.
What?
Poet.
I
didn't know it.
What? Okay. I predicted San Diego State to pull away in a close battle. 20-13 was the actual game. I predicted 32-30 in triple overtime. Like Dawson said, we didn't see the triple overtime part, but we saw the close game part. So it was a good game. Yeah.
All right. Well, I did think that Maddyx picked San Diego State in this game, but on the paper it says otherwise. He picked Ohio 16-9.
You see, I liked the Bobcats in this game. I thought they were going to be able to control San Diego State. Their offense, I thought Ohio could, just do what Ohio does. Get it to Sam Wiggless. I don't even know how to say it, but I know this. I know this receiver. He was a walk-on at Ohio State. He transferred to Ohio, and he is now one of the best receivers in the MAC, if not the best. He played good. He had 10 receptions, 103 yards. But the San Diego State team, Ohio's quarterback, Harris, threw 3 picks with only 1 touchdown. San Diego State's quarterback, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. That is the difference in the ball game right there. That's why San Diego State won it. They were able to take care of the ball, keep the ball in their hands, and they finished the game, won by 7 points.
And the weird thing about that is Ohio's quarterback, I do believe he is the defending MAC Offensive Player of the Year. C.J. Harris, he's a very good player. Had a good season last year. So the 3 turnovers is kind of a shocker. I also had Ohio winning. I had a 27-19 score. As Maddyx said, the turnovers, you can't have 3 turnovers and win a close ball game like that. That almost always comes back to hurt you, losing the turnover battle. Obviously came back to hurt Ohio. Maiden, which is San Diego State's quarterback, 2 touchdowns, 164 passing yards. It was a good competitive game all the way through. Never was really a big score difference. That's all I have to say about this one. And after week 0, the stats in the guessing game, me and Luke both have 3, and Quentin, who did not make his guesses on the podcast, he just sent them over to me. Quentin and Maddyx both have 2, so me and Luke are tied for first. Quentin and Maddyx are tied for third. All right, so now this leads us right into the next thing. We just talk about week 0 as a whole. The two games we didn't touch on, FIU, Louisiana Tech, and Hawaii, Vanderbilt. Which, speaking of Vanderbilt, what a setup for the away team. They put Hawaii in a tent in a weather delay with lightning. So, not a very good look. Had their scoreboard hanging
like cranes.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But Louisiana Tech came out on top against FIU 22-17, and Vanderbilt beat Hawaii 35-28. Not very much to talk about there. Main storyline is just basically Vanderbilt's stadium situation.
Stadium. It's absolutely atrocious at the moment. But
if you look at this team, Vanderbilt here, their quarterback, Swan, went 19 for 30 for 258 yards. I've not heard a lot about this guy, but he threw for 3 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over, and once again, close game, no turnovers. The quarterback for Hawaii, he throws 2 interceptions. That's the difference in the game. That's why Vanderbilt got it done at home. At home doesn't really matter because they don't have any fans anyways. But at home, so yeah.
Yep, and the Vanderbilt quarterback, Swan, why'd I say it like that?
Swan.
AJ Swan, he's their returning starter. He's a sophomore, played his freshman season. Like he said, 3 touchdowns. I think he's a pretty solid quarterback for a pretty not good Vanderbilt team. Yep, that's all we have to say about that one. Let's head over to the Louisiana Tech and FIU game. 22-17.
Hello?
Sorry, Luke. You can talk about this one first.
No.
Nobody cares about Hawaii and Vanderbilt.
Louisiana Tech 22-17.
What's that?
Shut up, Maddyx.
Louisiana Tech outscored them 9-0 in the fourth quarter. They were down 17-13 at the start of the fourth. That's math. Luke, you want to talk about this game at all?
No.
That's your fault then. FIU's quarterback, 5 for 14, 4 yards and an interception.
Wait, is that actually his stat line?
That's actually his stat line, and he was their only quarterback in the game.
That is terrible.
He had a 5 QBR.
I've never.
I don't know if I've seen that before.
Props to the Louisiana Tech defense.
5 for 14, 4 yards and an interception.
How do you even pass for only 4 yards?
He averaged 0.3 yards a catch. That is crazy. Their running back tore it up, though. Shimani Lawrence, 15 carries, 139 yards, a touchdown, broke one off for 67. Antonio Patterson, 5 for 17 and a touchdown. Obviously, the receivers didn't have very good stats. Josiah Miamin, 1 catch, 4 yards. Chris Mitchell, 1 catch, 2 yards. Shamani Lawrence and Antonio Patterson both had a catch for no gain. And Dean Patterson had 1 catch for -2 yards.
Great offensive play.
What an incredible.
So the longest passing play for FIU on the night was a total of 4 yards.
We knew Florida International was not going to be very good. Everyone's been talking about they might be one of the worst teams in the country, but that just proves
But I don't
right
think
there.
that's really bad.
That's
terrible.
They got to step that up, work on that passing game, but I mean, there's not that much more to say about it.
And then on the other side, Louisiana Tech, Hank Bachmeier, 44 attempts in the game. 34 for 44, 333 yards, 7.5 yards per catch, a touchdown and interception. He had a 50 QBR, which that's really not even great, but compared to a 5, it looks a lot better. 22-17 final score there for that game, and that wraps up our conversation about Week 0.
On to Week 1 now, as we predict the top 5 games of the week.
You got to write them down.
Yes, sir.
Take this time. Want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you're still here this far into the episode, we appreciate it. We appreciate the support we get from you guys. And as well...
I have an idea.
Ooh.
What if we break down Michigan versus East Carolina?
Yeah.
And Ohio State versus Indiana after this?
Okay.
This is the divided friendship about Ohio State, Michigan.
We can add that. Every week we can go break down Michigan's game and Ohio State's game.
Let's do it.
All right, bet. We appreciate the interaction we have with you guys, like on our Instagram polls, our TikTok, whatever that may be. We appreciate it. Just want to take that time to say thank you again.
We're just a few kids out here trying to learn and start our sports journey, I guess you would say. Keep going into this. And we've always talked about doing this, and all the followers and stuff. I mean, it helps, but this is just fun. Doing these podcasts is just fun. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And let's move on to these top 5 games of Week 1.
Yeah.
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 All right. First game, we'll go the Thursday 8 o'clock game where Florida, that was half and half voice crack, where the Florida Gators head into Utah's territory to take on the number 14 ranked Utah Utes. Florida obviously beat them last year, where Utah was a favorite in the swamp. They were kind of a playoff pick up to that point, but that kind of sealed their fate early on in the season. All right, Luke, Florida, Utah, who you got and what's the score?
Give me Utah over Florida. Final score, I don't think it's going to be close, but it's not going to be a blowout. So, that being said, give me Utah winning 35-21.
Okay, 35-21, Utah. Pat, who you got?
I'm going, just like Luke, I'm going with the Utes here. I don't think Florida's going to recover. I don't think Florida's going to bounce back after losing Anthony Richardson.
Replacing him with Graham Mertz.
Graham Mertz, I mean, he hasn't been put in a very great position overall in his college career, but I don't feel like he's a very good quarterback, and I think that Utah, with the returning starter at quarterback, he's going to play good. Coming back off an injury is always difficult, but I feel like the Utes will handle business, and they will win. Let's go 31-21.
Okay. I'm going to say also Utah wins. I think they get their revenge for last year's game. They win their home game in this home-and-home series. I'm going to go Utah wins 27-14. I don't think Florida's offense gets anything going that night. All right.
So we all pick Utah for that.
Next up, we'll go Colorado, TCU. Colorado on the road. Coach Prime's first game as the Buffs coach. TCU is the 21-point favorite in this, which I think is obviously, I think that's a bit big of a margin.
We put this game on here not because of really, we don't know if there's going to be a very good game. We don't know a bunch about Colorado. They have a bunch of new players coming in.
This will tell us a bunch about them.
We just know this has a lot of hype around it. Coach Prime's first game at Colorado. TCU coming off of the greatest season in their
program's history.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
Yeah, they lose a lot of players, but I mean, this is on here for the story.
All right, Luke, Colorado, TCU.
This, in my opinion, is going to be a very close game. I think in Coach Prime's first game with Colorado Buffaloes, he is going to fall 3 points short to the TCU Horned Frogs in a close battle where TCU is going to win 24-21.
Okay. That sounds like a game I want to watch. Mad Pat, what's your pick?
I'm also going with the TCU Horned Frogs here. I feel like Will Howard will have. That's not his name? What is it?
Will Howard's the Kansas State one.
Oh.
This one is.
My bad.
He started the season last year for TCU.
Freak. I knew this.
I don't remember his name. Hold up.
Will Howard,
I'll look it up.
I was thinking about Will Howard.
I think his last name's Morris.
Coming in the air, hear those screams from everywhere. I'm addicted.
Yeah, I was right. It's Chandler Morris. If he's their starter.
Love affair. Can't
be scared when it goes down. Got a problem? Tell me now.
Only thing that's on my mind
is we gonna run this town tonight. All right. Yep. He's probably gonna be their starter.
All right, Chandler Morris. I think after starting the season off last year as a starter, getting it taken by Max Duggan. Max Duggan played
phenomenal,
very good. Had Quentin Johnson out there. He's not there anymore. But I think TCU handles business, and they beat Coach Prime in his first game. They beat him 28-17. I think not a huge amount of points scored because I like that corner room for Colorado. They're going to be locked out.
I'm going to take also TCU. I don't think it'll be a very close game, but I don't think it'll be a 21-point win. I'm going to go TCU 34, Colorado 13. All right, next game we'll go with Boise State on the road against number 10 Washington. Okay, Luke, number 10 Washington against Boise State.
Give me the Washington Huskies at home against Boise State. A Boise State team that could sneak their way into the top 25 at one point of the season. I'm not saying they'll stay there for very long, but they have a chance of sneaking in there for a little bit, maybe getting a high 20s ranking.
Who'd you pick? Washington?
I'm going to go with the Washington Huskies at home, winning 42-20.
All right.
I'm going to go with a Michael Penix Jr. masterclass performance here. But I'm also going to go with the great offensive performance by Boise State with the final score of 42-38 here with the Washington Huskies winning.
Oh, I thought we had an upset pick right there. That'd been crazy.
42-38.
All right. I'm also going to go with Washington. All of our picks have been unanimous today. Washington, obviously, a high firepower offense. Boise State, I think they're probably going to be one of the top 3 group of 5 schools this year, but this Washington offense, I think, is too high firepower for them to handle. I'm taking the Huskies 38-24 final score. Next game, we will have the Dukes Mayo Classic, where College Game Day will be at. Number 21, North Carolina on the road against Spencer Rattler in South Carolina. Luke, who you got?
All right, this is going to be a very good game. Probably the best, in my opinion, this might be either the best or the second best game of week 1. A rivalry game. Both the teams are really good. North Carolina starting off the season ranked 21st. South Carolina last year had some big wins. They had some
down the end of the season.
Yeah, down the end of the line they had some big wins. So that being said, I think that the South Carolina Gamecocks are going to go ahead and beat the North Carolina Tar Heels by a final score of 35-28. I think this has potential to be one of the best games, not of the season, but
You've said this 4 times.
maybe. Actually, no, I changed my mind. This could be one of the best games of the season.
Okay. Matt Pat, what are you thinking?
I thought I was going to be the only one to say this, but this might be unanimous. I'm going South Carolina. Spencer Ratatouille.
Hey.
Spencer Rattler starts off the year with a great game here against Drake May in North Carolina. Drake May, obviously, very good quarterback, but, I mean, he has to have his help, and I don't think his defense is going to help him out very much. And I'm going to go a final score of 38-37, South Carolina.
You know, that's crazy because right after I said this game, I thought I was going to be the only person to say South Carolina. But it seems like we're staying unanimous up until the last game. I'm going to take South Carolina wins on a game-winning field goal. They're going to win 30-28 against the Tar Heels, knock them off in a ranked versus unranked versus ranked upset. We don't do that one. We do this one.
Oh, yeah, we do this one.
All right. Last game of the top 5 games, week 1 prediction. We got the Camping World Kickoff, a rematch of last year's week 1 game. Number 5 LSU on the road, even though it's a neutral site game, up against the number 8 Florida Seminoles.
Florida State.
Did I say Florida?
Yeah.
Florida State Seminoles. Luke, who you got? LSU is favored by 2.5 points.
All right, this this game is really crucial for both teams because one of these teams inside of the top 10, they're gonna have to lose. So you got to think all these teams have playoff hopes. They're looking at playoff spots. So whoever loses this, they're gonna have to work a lot harder to sneak into the playoffs. Now that being said,
things have to go their way for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah. That being said, LSU is only one spot at the moment. They're the number 5 ranked team. They're one spot out of the college football playoff. Florida State.
It's week 1.
I don't care if it's week 1. They're starting the season off one spot outside the college football playoff.
You could just say one spot out of the top 4.
Or top 4, yeah. Okay, whatever. Florida State. They're 4 spots out. Not too far out, but not as close as LSU. Now, I think that in a close battle, Florida State, with the game-tying field goal, they are going to miss in double overtime. Yeah.
Okay.
They're going to fall 31-28.
All right, so he's got a missed field goal to tie it up to send it to triple overtime.
All right.
31-28. LSU win, right? Did you say LSU or Florida State win?
LSU.
All right.
I'm going here with the Seminoles. I'm going to state it right now. The Florida State Seminoles. Not going to mess around. I'm just going to say Florida State wins this one. It's going to be a good game. 2 great quarterbacks going at it. Got to see what these defenses can do. See if they can stop a great offense. Both these offenses pretty good. I'm going to go Florida State with the W, 28-24.
28-24. That's a good game right there. I'm just going to say right here, we're going Florida State.
Non-unanimous.
Florida State, I really think that it's not going to be all too close of a game. I think LSU's highly overrated. I think they're kind of fraudulent for 5.
Trash.
I mean, made the SEC championship last year, sure, but we're going to go Florida State 38, LSU 20. No. 24. Yeah, I like that better. 38-24 win Florida State.
So that'll close out top 5 games of the week. Predictions will be out on the Instagram and the TikTok soon. Edited by our boy Luke here. As also we will be releasing the week 0 predictions on there soon as well. As now we will move on. We're gonna go next. We're going with the breakdown of our favorite team's game, because it is game week.
Yeah.
It's the time we've been waiting for since New Year's, when the ball dropped and the ball went left, wide
she's
left,
having
Noah
PTSD.
Ruggles missed it. It goes right to the John 3:16 sign. It's missed. We lose. We don't go to the national championship, where we would have beat TCU, would have absolutely killed them, would have put up a title for the first time since 2014, but we
She's
missed.
having PTSD.
It is that time.
Okay.
It's game week.
Are you done?
Yes.
All right.
The Michigan Wolverines versus the East
No,
Carolina.
you start, because you're
The Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Indiana Hoosiers at Indiana. We
Okay.
don't know much about really either team.
Is that right?
That is right. Bucko. I really don't know anything about Indiana. I don't have a clue who they're starting or what's going on or who to look out for. All right. This game is projected to be a blowout. Ohio State, a 13.5-point favorite here with a 97% win percentage. And I believe, obviously, I think the Buckeyes are going to... What am I saying? I'm going to start here. Ohio State still haven't announced quarterback. I don't think it matters that much. These receivers, these running backs, they're going to carry this game. Defense is going to play great. And the second year of the Jim Knowles defense scheme, I think Ohio State handles Indiana very easily. Don't know much about Indiana this year. Ohio State will win this game easily, defeating the Hoosiers. That's pretty much all I have to say. Quarterback's going to play great. I just think it's going to be a blowout. All right.
Okay. Now we got me and Luke's favorite teams, Michigan and East Carolina. Obviously, we know Jim Harbaugh has a 3-game suspension imposed by the University of Michigan. Also, Sharon Moore suspended week 1 by the University of Michigan. So, Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator, will be the interim head coach for this game against the Pirates. Michigan's offense looks to stay how it was last year. They got the 1-2 punch in the backfield between Corum and Edwards. J.J. McCarthy hoping he took big steps in the offseason, hoping Blake Corum is back to being as explosive as he was before his injury. Luke, what do you have to say about this?
Michigan going into this game is given by ESPN a 94.9% chance to win this game. ECU 5.1% chance to win this game. Now, hopefully we don't get Appalachian Stated.
Jinxed, you're getting Appalachian Stated. You just jinxed yourself. Now you're gonna get killed.
Okay, so
I hope you're just kidding.
For the Wolverines, you got J.J. McCarthy starting QB, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards in the backfield. That's gonna be crucial to go against. In my opinion, both of those backs, top 5 in the country. Edwards, you can throw him in at receiver, but Blake Corum, he is mainly a running back. Not a great receiver. Not as great as Donovan Edwards, at least.
Oh, gosh.
But for East Carolina, you've got Mason Garcia starting at QB. You've got Brock Spalding at your receiver. So those are two players to look out for, in my opinion, for the East Carolina Pirates. Even though I don't think they aren't going to put on a great show, I think that the Michigan Wolverines are going to pull away with this, and Maddyx is.
I also think Michigan will win. I don't think it'll be relatively close at all. All right, on to.
I did not say names. I didn't say names. I forgot to break down a little bit more. But this is one last thing I have to say. Ohio State running back room: Dallin Hayden, Mine Williams, Travion Henderson, a little bit of Evan Pryor probably. Chip train them. They're going to play great. They're going to lead this team. They're going to have to lead this quarterback. Whoever it is, these running backs are going to play great against Indiana. They're going to show that Ohio State running backs are still a thing and they're still great. And Ohio State is going to dominate in the run game and win the game. Thank you.
Okay. On to what could be our most controversial segment of this year's episodes. On to our college football playoff predictions for this season. I'm sure Maddyx's is the least controversial, so we're gonna let him go first.
Here we go. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s.
1
or 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s.
4s, 3s, 2s.
Yeah.
No, I think we go 1s because 1 is easy.
Oh yeah. Should we do 1 and 4 or 1, 2? Like the matchups.
1, 4, 2, 3.
Okay.
All right. Number 1 on mine, maybe unanimous. I don't know. I have the cupcake schedulers, the easiest schedule probably in the SEC. Maybe one of the easiest schedules I've seen from the top team in a while. I have the Georgia Bulldogs going 13-0 with a new quarterback. Don't think it really matters though. They go 13-0. They win the SEC and they win, or they get number 1 in the playoffs.
You're number 4. You got a 4.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay. Number 4 in here. We start out with an absolute heater.
Oh, goodness.
The Kansas State Wildcats make the playoffs.
What the?
no.
Will Howard stuns the nation and leads them to a win. Week after week, Kansas State upsets, becomes the TCU of this year.
That is crazy.
And they win the number 4 spot, or they claim the number 4 spot in the college football playoffs. On to whoever's next.
You're still next. You just go through the whole thing.
Number 2, we start out with a not so hard one. We go with the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 2, the winners of the Big Ten, the defeaters of the Wolverines. Coming in at number 3, the team that was 1 game away from the Big Ten championship spot, the Michigan Wolverines faced the Ohio State Buckeyes in the playoffs. The game in the playoffs. Now I'll do my winners after. You guys go now.
Luke, do you want next or do you want me to go next? You got next then.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Desmond Howard 2.0.
So, starting out, number 1, call me Desmond Howard. Call me biased. I can already see the comments saying, "Oh, it's biased. Oh, no. Yes, it very much is biased. Number 1, give me the Michigan Wolverines. It's kind of biased, but on the other side, it's number 4. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs. At 4. Yes. Number 2. Oh, okay. My explanation, I think they make it all the way to the SEC championship and they lose there to LSU. Now, the reason LSU doesn't make it, the reason I don't think LSU makes it is because I think they will lose more than 3 times. But they make the SEC championship. Number 2, give me the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Whoa.
Making their first college football playoff appearance at the number 2 seed, finishing 1 spot out of the Big Ten championship. I think that they make a miraculous run and show everyone what the Nittany Lions are all about.
How do they get number 2 though if Michigan beats them and Michigan's number 1?
I think they go 11-1, beating the Ohio State Buckeyes and beating everyone else besides Michigan. Number 3, give me Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks.
Is that your exact bracket? Is that no way? No shot.
I think I just did his entire bracket. Okay. Well, I think Bo Nix is going to have a Heisman run. I think that the Oregon Ducks are going to be absolutely stunning this year. Make the college football
What is
playoff.
You just, not even a month ago, you said that me having them at 4 was outlandish when you had Florida in the top 10.
Oh yeah, I would take that.
All right. So
Now you got.
I
told me
did
them at 4 is crazy.
I did some research.
Yep, you listen to me.
And no, I did some research.
Duct tape his mouth.
I
Get him.
completely forgot that Bo Nix was actually correct. And they're trying to duct tape my mouth shut. No.
Okay, continue.
Okay. That's all I got for now until we say our matchups.
All right. Well, number 1, I got the Georgia Bulldogs. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Not too difficult of a schedule. Not very many ranked teams are gonna have to play. Number 2, we got the Michigan Wolverines. I think they'll go undefeated again, win their conference title. Number 3, we got Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks. Everyone knows I'm really high on Oregon and Bo Nix. So I have him here at 3. Here at 4, as a shocker, I have Penn State.
You didn't go on 4-3.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. It's too late. All right, well, 1 and 4 is Georgia, Penn State. 2 and 3, Michigan, Oregon. Penn State, I think they'll go 11-1 with a loss to Michigan. That would be crazy. Ivan 4, I think they'll put on a good showing against every team except Michigan. I think they keep it close with the Wolverines. All right, Pat, your predictions.
All right, starting my playoff prediction here, we will start with the Georgia and Kansas State side, the 1-4 matchup. I have the Georgia Bulldogs handedly. Is that how you say that? Handedly? I just have the Georgia Bulldogs dominating Kansas State, proving their dominance as a number 1 team, and they move on to the national title. Then the 2-3 matchup, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. The Ohio State Buckeyes win and claim their spot in the national title for a rematch against the Georgia Bulldogs from last year's college football playoff. And for the Ohio State wins the first ever college football playoff back in 2014-15 season. And I think the 2023-24 season, the Ohio State Buckeyes reclaim the top of the college football world. They knock off the Georgia Bulldogs. They take away the dreams of a three-peat for the Bulldogs, and they claim a title for the first time since 2014. And Ryan Day keeps his job in Columbus. Buckeyes fans around the world.
Do you know Ryan Day was born on third base?
Okay, buddy. What's his recruiting class right now, and what's Michigan's?
Exactly.
Okay. Number 1 Michigan versus number 4 Georgia. I got the Michigan Wolverines in a high-scoring battle, 53-50. I think that the Michigan Wolverines are going to get their revenge on the Georgia Bulldogs from 2021. Where they lost in the Peach Bowl, was it? Was it the Peach Bowl? Orange Bowl. I think that they are going to avenge that loss against Georgia and come out with a 3-point win. Now for the number 2 Penn State Nittany Lions and the number 3 Oregon Ducks. Give me Oregon winning 41-29 over Penn State. I think Penn State is going to kind of do what Michigan does. They play great all season, and then it comes to the playoffs, and they don't do good. And I think that's what's going to happen to the Nittany Lions here against Oregon. I think Oregon's just going to be overall. I think Oregon's just going to play a better game overall. Now for the national championship, the number 1 Michigan Wolverines versus the number 3 Oregon Ducks. In the college football playoff national championship, for the first time in program history, the Michigan Wolverines come out on top over the Oregon Ducks, 33-21, finishing an immaculate run for the national title game and claiming their spot as the number 1 team in college football. Dawson, on to you.
All right. I got number 1, Georgia, number 4, Penn State. We saw last year what happened to Georgia whenever teams had really good offensive firepower. Obviously, Marvin Harrison was the key part of dicing up that defense. And I think the key part in this matchup is Penn State's Nick Singleton. So with that being said, I'm going to pick an upset. I'm going to go Penn State over Georgia.
Like I said, national champion winner is coming out of the Big Ten. Doesn't matter if it's Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. The national champion winner is coming out of the Big Ten this year.
Then Michigan, Oregon. I really want to pick Michigan here. I really do. Their team, great. But
he set
Oregon's offensive firepower is something that Michigan will have not seen in a few weeks. And I think that with the month to prepare for the Wolverines like TCU had, I think Oregon upsets the Wolverines behind a great performance from Bo Nix. It pains me to say it, but I think so.
If this happens, like if this playoff actually happens and this game happens, and you have to admit that you think that the Wolverines are about to lose, it's going to be crazy.
Now, number 3, Oregon. Number 4, Penn State. Nick Singleton, Drew Aller, Katron Allen, Kalen King, Chop Robinson. All those guys against one man. No. Against Bo Nix. Troy Franklin, I believe, is on their team. Dan Lanning, their head coach. Give me the high-powered Pac-12 offense powerhouse Oregon Ducks over the Nittany Lions in the national championship.
What a prediction there by Philly.
I'm Desmond Howard. Someone fire me.
Desmond Howard 2.0. We thought it was going to be Luke, but no, it is Philly that is Desmond Howard 2.0. We thank you for watching this episode. Philly, close us out.
We appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all and catch y'all on the next one.